guys, welcome back to another video, and it is already week 10 of college football, and there's a lot of good games to look at, so let's get right into it with our first game, Ohio State at Rutgers. Ohio State, they're undefeated this year. They are now actually number one in the college football rankings right now, and we see in Ohio State win big games like they did versus Notre Dame. Some of their games have not been that pretty, like versus Penn State. They've had the tough part of their schedule already besides Michigan. Now they got to play Rutgers. Is that Rutgers? Not a walk in the park exactly, because, you know, there's a little bit of a trap game out there somewhere, so they got to watch out for it, but I don't have Rutgers pulling off an upset. I have Ohio State 36-20, Buckeyes on top. And our next game, 25 Kansas State at Texas. In Texas, they have one loss so far, and it's versus the Oklahoma Sooners, who also have one loss. And they're doing pretty good this year. This is versus Kansas State, a very talented team with Will Howard at quarterback. And I see some potential in an upset right here. Quinn Ewers also being out is a huge factor in this game. It is at Texas, but I see a little bit of a spark for Kansas State to get going. I have Kansas State upsetting Texas 27-24. Kansas State with the upset. Next game, we got Texas A&M at Ole Miss. Ole Miss, they are doing pretty good this year with just one loss versus Alabama. That's not a bad loss. I mean, Alabama's Alabama, and they've got a lot of SEC games this year because they're in the SEC. And this is versus Texas A&M. It's going to be a home game for them. It's going to help the Rebels a lot. And Texas A&M, they're not incredible. I mean, they've had some up and down games, not very consistent for an SEC team. I have Ole Miss getting the win, 35-24. The Rebels getting the win. Next up, we have Notre Dame at Clemson. Notre Dame, they are doing a great job this year. Besides that loss they had versus Ohio State, just barely lost that game, and they'd be just fine. And this is versus Clemson. This is, if Clemson was any other team with the same record and stuff, this could be an easy walk in the park, really, for Notre Dame. But this is Clemson. This is a rivalry matchup that we've seen close games in the past. And Clemson normally has the advantage in these games, but not this time. Notre Dame is probably predicted to win. At least what I know, Notre Dame's predicted to win. Also, right now, I have Notre Dame getting the win by 7 points, 37-30. I have the Fighting Irish getting the win. Our next game, this is a little out of Power 5 play. It's Army at undefeated Air Force. Air Force, they're undefeated. They're doing a great job this year, but we don't see anything like Cincinnati that one year. They were undefeated. They were out of conference. They made it to the playoffs. That's not going to happen with Air Force, at least based on what I know. And this is versus Army, and Army's not very good. A lot of these, like, Army, Navy, Air Force games are pretty low scoring. I have it being pretty low scoring, 24-10, Air Force getting the win. Our next game, we have Florida State at Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh, an ACC team as well. And Pittsburgh, they're not a terrible team, but they're not going to keep up with Florida State if we're being realistic. Jordan Travis, a great run game, great receivers, just a really dominant Seminole team. I have Florida State getting the win, 38-17, Florida State getting the win. Our next game, we have Missouri at Georgia. Georgia, they're doing a great job right now. They're looking for gold, and they are undefeated, looking for the three-peat. They have to get this win. This is probably the biggest game of their season so far. Their key wins have been Florida and Kentucky. This is another big one that they have to win versus Missouri. SEC, I wouldn't say rival, but for right now, this is going to be an intense game coming into. I know Missouri's ready to bring the heat versus them, score a touchdown, might give them a but Georgia, they're ready to fight back. Kirby Smart knows how to do adjustments at halftime, and they're going to get ready to show it right here. I have Georgia getting to win 38-22, dogs on top. And we've seen this with other opponents. If you want to beat Georgia, you can't run the ball all game. It's just not going to work. It's just how it is. You've got to have a good quarterback. Brady Cook has the potential as an SEC quarterback, but it's either going to be the potential doesn't show up, or it shows up. Brady Cook is legit, and they win the game. I have dogs getting the win, though, 38-22. Our next game, we have Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State, they've had a little inconsistent games. They're not perfect right now. They're not near undefeated or anything. But this is versus a rival, Oklahoma, at Oklahoma State. Those Cowboy fans can get rowdy. You never know. Oklahoma might have a little trouble in this game. Oklahoma, they have a great quarterback, a good offense, but they kind of rely on their defense some. And that's not going to be enough for an explosive Oklahoma State offense at Oklahoma State. It's going to be electric. I have Oklahoma State upsetting Oklahoma 41-35. A huge upset that I am predicting right there. Next game, 5 Washington and 24 USC. USC, Caleb Williams, not perfect this year. They're hanging off of a cliff right now, I'll tell you that. Getting a win last week versus California. 50-49. Not where you want to be. At least they got the win, though. Stopping them on a 2-point conversion. That California failed to win the game. They also lost to Utah and got obliterated by Notre Dame. They got to get a big win here, and unfortunate for them, they got to play Washington. But I have Washington taking over 45-27. Everybody said Washington, they're undefeated, they're amazing. But really, 2 weeks ago, they beat Arizona State 15-7. Yup. And last week, they barely beat Stanford. Yup. Not the best team of the 5 remaining big top dog undefeated teams right now. But I do have them getting a win versus an inconsistent defense of USC 45-27. Our next game, we have Kansas and Iowa State. Iowa State, they're not that bad. And this is Kansas having a heck of a game last week, upsetting Oklahoma. A heck of a game, 38-33. The Kansas Jayhawks getting the win without their quarterback too. And they had a rowdy environment as well. This one is going to be on the road there, though. They got to bring their fans into Iowa State Stadium. I have Kansas getting the win, 31-20. The Jayhawks getting it done. But they're going to need some courage right here for this one. This is not an easy game like at Iowa State. Kansas, a lot of their success comes at home. This one is not. But I have them getting the win. Next game, we have College Game Day. It's LSU at Alabama. Great history on this game. And both of these teams, specifically Alabama, I think really Alabama, they're trying to find their way this season. They're making a path for themselves, and Jalen Milroe is following it. And this is versus LSU. LSU, they got a good team, but their defense not doing great right now. They got to step it up. But I have Bama in a lower scoring game than I think people are expecting, 27-20. I have Alabama getting the win 27-20. A great game for them. In our next game, we have Purdue at 2 Michigan. Michigan, undefeated. Feel like they're a little overrated right now. I mean, they are. I think they're number 3 in the college football playoff rankings right now, which is understandable because I don't think they're as good as Georgia or Ohio State. But they have a great run game. It's not like they're a bad team at all. They're undefeated. They still got to play Penn State and Ohio State, so things could get interesting when it comes to them making the playoff and all that stuff. But not right now. They got to worry about Purdue. Purdue's no team they should be messing around with. I have Purdue. They're good, but I don't think they're good enough to beat Michigan. I got the Wolverines 41-17. I got Michigan getting the win. Next game, we have DJ Ukulele, whatever, versus Colorado. With his Oregon State at Colorado. Deion Sanders played UCLA last week. It did not turn out that great. And we know how the season's been. Colorado hyped up, fell back down. Deion Sanders, still, he's trying to build back up momentum for this Colorado program. And this is versus Oregon State, who's good. They're inside the top 20. They're a great team with DJ Uiagalelei. They just lost to Arizona, though, on last Saturday. I have Oregon State getting the win 38-23. I got Oregon State. Next game, we have 20 UCLA at Arizona. Arizona, I just said they beat Oregon State last week. A heck of a game for them. They're not a sleeper team right now. They are doing a great job this year compared to other years. I feel like people are sleeping on them right now. And this is going to be a home game for them. No walk in the park for UCLA. They're a top 25 team and everything. This is a tough game for them. I feel like people are sleeping on this game. This is going to be a really interesting game. I have UCLA barely getting out with the win. 28-27. I got the Bruins. Next game, we have Auburn at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt might not have the best home crowd or anything. And this is versus Auburn. Not incredibly far away. Stays in the South. I think Auburn will come into this game pretty confident, getting the win. 41-21. I got the Tigers getting the win on the road. Next game, I'm going to finish out with two great SEC games. It's Mississippi State and Kentucky. This is going to be at Mississippi State. And Kentucky got the win last year. A great game for them, proving themselves. This time it's at Mississippi State with all the cowbells. This is going to be tough for them. But Mississippi State, pretty inconsistent. And you can see why them getting the win versus Arkansas 7-3. No, that was not the end of the first quarter. That was the final score right there. And their offense is not very good. First, Kentucky. Back to the point. I have Kentucky getting the win 27-16. Wildcats on top. Our final game of the day, it's Arkansas at Florida. Florida came off a neutral site loss versus Georgia, which is understandable, but I know there's people out there that said Florida's going to get that upset. No, they did not. They absolutely did not. And this is versus Arkansas. I feel like this is going to be kind of like the game that they played for South Carolina. Higher scoring, coming down to a few lucky plays. I have the Gators, though, getting the win. 37-33, Florida on top. Thank you guys for watching my Week 10 college football predictions. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.